I've got news for you. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You're not unconfident. Your confidence isn't low because you lack ability. It's low because you were conditioned to doubt yourself. Let's talk about that. I'm Corrie, keynote speaker, leadership strategist, and author of the upcoming book, The 5 Overwhelm Culprits. Today, we're talking about one of the biggest confidence killers for high-performing professionals, conditioning, the invisible rules that you were taught about being good, likable, appropriate, or acceptable. These rules shape your decisions more than your actual personality does. And until you see them, you can't break free of them. So let's start with something most people forget. You weren't born doubting yourself. You weren't born apologizing for taking up space. You weren't born afraid to speak up. You weren't born worrying about disappointing people. And you definitely weren't born calculating how others might perceive you. You learned all that. Every single one of us was raised with invisible instructions. Don't rock the boat. Don't be too much. Don't challenge authority. Don't interrupt. Don't make it weird. Don't make people uncomfortable. This conditioning slips into your brain before you even realize it, and it directly affects your leadership, especially in moments of crisis when confidence matters most. In my interviews while writing my book, I saw patterns across gender, age, role, and industry. People weren't lacking confidence because they lacked skill. They were lacking confidence because they were raised to. They were raised to avoid risk, to avoid judgment, to avoid displeasing others, to avoid failure, to avoid being the center of attention. Even high achievers told me, Corrie, I know I'm capable. I'm just struggling to trust myself. This is conditioning, not capability. Conditioning trains your nervous system to overthink, to hesitate, to freeze, to default to safety, outsource your decisions, and to prioritize other people's comfort over your own clarity. Let that sink in. And in crisis leadership, clarity and confidence matter more than ever. I'm going to share one of the stories featured in the book, and I hear variations of this weekly. So Alyssa had never asked for a raise in her 12-year career, not because she didn't deserve it, not because she wasn't qualified, not because she wasn't killing it in her role, because trust me, she was. I mean, girlfriend was, I believe she was taking charge, if I remember right, of building out a cardiology department at a hospital. So girl was qualified, but she was terrified if she did ask for a raise, that she would be seen as pushy, ungrateful, aggressive, difficult. Not because she was any of those things, but because she was conditioned from a young age to be good. And good meant don't ask for more. Don't make waves. Don't risk being told no. She wasn't underpaid because she lacked confidence. She was underpaid because the rules she learned growing up made her hesitate. Now, here's the part almost no one talks about. Conditioning is the number one barrier to confident decision-making during crisis. Full stop. It's not skill, not intelligence, not experience, because in uncertainty, your brain defaults to your earliest programming. Stay quiet, stay agreeable, stay small. Don't take risks, don't make the wrong choice. But crisis leadership requires the opposite. It requires clarity, decisiveness, emotional grounding, risk literacy, presence, self-trust. When conditioning runs the show, confidence collapses. But when self-awareness leads the show, it rebuilds. So here's 3 types of conditioning that kill your confidence. Number 1, perfection conditioning. You're always taking the safest way, and that's the most flawless way. This ultimately freezes action because you don't feel safe enough to take action unless it is perfect, which is unrealistic and unreasonable. Number 2 is people-pleasing conditioning. Your worth depends on everyone being happy with you. This ultimately has you killing boundaries and blurring decision-making overall because you are more worried about what other people think than what is actually best for everyone as a whole, including yourself. Number 3 is fear-based conditioning. You don't try something unless you're sure you're going to succeed. This kills innovation and courage. Self-doubt isn't your personality, it's your programming. and programming can be rewritten. So let's talk about how to rewrite your conditioning. Number one is notice the voice. Is this fear or is this conditioning? So think deep down, intuitively in your gut, is this something that you're genuinely scared of? Or is this something that maybe you heard from somebody else at some point in time in your life, whether it was when you were a child or whether it could have been last year through a colleague? Think, is this a fear or is it conditioning? Number two, ask, whose rules am I following right now? Is it your parents' rules, your old bosses, your cultures? Maybe someone you dated when you were 22, maybe societies. Who knows? But ask yourself, like, where did I learn these rules and why do I continue to follow them? Number three, break the rule in a tiny way that feels safe. So if the rule says don't speak first, test out speaking first. See what happens. Usually it's nowhere near as horrible as you think it will be. If the rule says don't ask for more, ask. What's the harm in asking? The worst thing they're going to say is no. If the rule says don't inconvenience anyone, state your needs. Tiny rebellions recalibrate confidence. This is how you're going to rebuild from the inside out. Confidence isn't a personality trait. It's a conditioned state. And the good news is, if it was conditioned, it can be unconditioned. If this episode spoke to you, there is an entire section in my upcoming book, The 5 Overwhelm Culprits, coming out on May 12th, that dives even deeper into this topic. So go ahead, take my free Overwhelm Culprit Quiz. The link is in the show notes. Subscribe, share this with someone who struggles with self-trust, and I will see you on the next episode. See you there.
Thanks for checking out The Next Step with Corrie Lowe. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend, subscribe, and leave a review. Together, we'll transform overwhelm into action, and we'll keep taking the next step towards confident leadership. See you next time.